I personally, as weird as this is to say, I have the least to say about my recommendation. So I place that in order wherever you wish to place it, just if that helps at all.
That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Well then why don't Brennan goes first, and then we'll get progressively deeper into the damn thing.
We'll bank that one out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds good. So, but real quick, the usual disclaimer I always give, if anyone listening hasn't seen the movies that we're going to be talking about here, definitely go out and watch them so you can be in on the conversation, because we will be spoiling the shit out of them. So, Brennan's movie that he recommended was the 1977 Dario Argento art house horror piece, Suspiria. So, tell us a little bit about this movie, Brennan. What little you have to say about it.
So, not that I don't mean that in a terribly disparaging way. I guess I expected more out of it because it's like I guess it's from what I heard, it was kind of legendary. And then there was this remake that happened in 2018 that put it on my radar as something where I was like, well, I'm actually interested in the remake, but I feel like I should see the original, especially because Argento is like one of these prolific filmmakers and everything like that. And my big takeaway from the movie is, at a certain point, I was able to look at it as kind of like a cheesy Italian movie, which really helped as opposed to like looking at it as like a high art film. And so for me, that really elevated the parts of it that I did appreciate. And there were, I think 2 or 3 scenes in the movie that I absolutely loved, and I think could have gone on longer, a bigger part of the movie. And I think I said this with Jake earlier. I really love the visuals and like the lighting and like all that stuff. It's super interesting. Just the set pieces, or I should say the set design of the.
I was going to say
the
world building they did is like very 1970s.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
For sure.
Absolutely. And so with that, and then the other thing, the score with the visuals was a little bit different. The score was almost a little bit spookier than the thing that was on screen. Yeah. For me, I kind of like that because I found that disorienting, and that was kind of the movie felt very dreamlike in a way.
Kind of like in the same way they use. There's a lot of scenes where they'll have a wide angle lens on a shot that you wouldn't necessarily need it on, so you can actually see the landscape and the sets like curving and bending around as the camera moves.
Yeah. Exactly. Like just an angle in a weird corner of a room that you wouldn't have expected it to be in or whatever. And so with that, all I mean to say about it is, like, I guess I expected more. I can see stuff that was taken from it, I guess, and I can see, I think it might be a victim of I'm just used to today's horror movies, so it didn't particularly scare me as especially from one of these movies from this era that, like, is being referenced and as, like, one of the higher ones, or, like, high art horror or whatever, which, I take that all with a grain of salt. But I enjoyed a good amount of it. But by and large, I'm still curious to see the remake. But by and large, I got to say, it wasn't I wasn't blown away by it. I won't be getting a Blu-ray of this, probably.
I think you will probably be getting a Blu-ray of the remake, because it sounds like a lot of the things that you don't like are improved upon.
Brennan, it sounds like somebody's getting a new Blu-ray.
And this is Patreon, so I can get a Blu-ray.
What you said, Jacob, about like the remake is exactly what I've heard. Like, I haven't seen the remake, but that's what I've heard, that they've taken what was good about the 1970s film and just went off on that and made it really dope. So I want to see that remake.
I was in the very similar situation as Brennan, where I had seen the new one first because I was aware of this old one, and but it just was, at the time I didn't know it was that easily accessible, so I rented the new one and I watched it and I really, really liked it. But then whenever I went back and I saw like clips of the old one, I was like, this looks a little bit too cheesy. I don't know, that maybe it's for the better that I don't watch this. But I am actually glad that I did go back and watch this, because it does have a lot of while I do think the remake is better, I think that this one does have a lot to appreciate, even if it's not necessarily something that'll scare you. It definitely has a really, really creepy atmosphere.
Very interesting time capsule.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Very compelling visuals.
It feels like if I'm a horror movie fan, I should just go back and check this off my list anyway. Off my watch list anyway. But,
hey. We got there.
No, but I'm glad I saw it.
I would say the one big thing for me, and I guess we can say some other moments. This is kind of a little bit more of a spoiler, but the big scare for me that I really loved was the blind man being killed by the dog in the courtyard.
Yeah, I really like that scene.
For me, I loved it. I found it so brutal and like surprising, and it is a lot of build up to that point where he's standing in the courtyard. And honestly, I was listening to Jake watch the movie, and he was like, "Move!"
I was like, anywhere else, just walk anywhere else from where you're at.
You were in a wide open clearing. You have lots of places to go to. Which actually, I found out that was that was apparently the site of a lot of book burnings, and that was shot on location in Nazi Germany.
That's
so
awesome,
another little like inside thing to appreciate.
I felt like just as an inventive part of the movie that just happens kind of clumsily. Like the character is kind of clumsy to fall into it, but I just felt like it was like, oh, that's some like early pre-Saw shit. But like when she falls into the room full of barbed wire, like how did she climb through that window and not see the room full of barbed wire beneath her? It's like just so wild.
She scans the room before she jumps down.
So is there some witchcraft there? Is that what it is? Is like maybe there's a spell where she like didn't see the barbed wire and then she like jumps down and is caught in it?
You're doing a lot of work for them.
Maybe, I guess, yeah, maybe. And then, but it was pretty brutal, and I enjoyed that.
That opening scene still is like one of the most brutal things I've seen in a horror movie. When like the girl gets like her like still beating heart like stabbed and then like just plummeted through the ceiling. That's probably easily the most recognizable sequence in the entire movie. I feel like if anyone knows this movie, that's the scene that they know.
Interesting. Okay, so aside from
that beginning kill, like, sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say that shot with her. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing here. That shot with her head like coming through. That shot I thought looked so cool for such a disturbing way. I had not seen that. Just like before she falls through the glass, her head getting kind of pushed through it.
Yeah, that
looked so awesome. I'm sorry, Brennan. I cut you off for that.
No, that's totally fine. You were sticking with the topic of the scene there. Yeah, that scene's great. I mean, honestly, a part of that scene is another great example of the set deco in that movie, where it's just like, all these beautiful stained glass windows, and like, yeah, let's shove this lady right through it. You know, it looks. I mean, it's terrible what's happening, but it does look beautiful, and like that, whole kind of what's it called? I guess. I don't know, not to say incongruity again, but yeah, that whole kind of thing is very interesting and kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
Have you guys? This is Brennan's pick. Brennan, do you know anything about the source material this movie's based off of?
Nothing. I know nothing.
I didn't know that there was source material. I thought this was just
It's
It's a bit.
No. This is very real.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No. That is like a classic bit from the Buttery Males podcast. 2-month-old podcast is a classic bit.
This bit goes way.
It's already
back.
stale.
No, it's based off of this collection of the genre is loosely expressed as where is it? A psychological fantasy. Mm-hmm. And it's these 32 essays by Thomas De Quincey. I have never heard of this man, but this is apparently one of the like best known English essayists of all time who's written this. But the interesting thing about it, because I haven't read any of them, because I think it costs money to read them, and I'm a poor person. But the interesting thing about them is it's a 32 volume like essay, like, collection, but 18 of these essays are like non-existent. Even though there's like a master record of all 32 essays, 18 of them are just not available. The original publisher doesn't have them, like they're nowhere to be found. So it's just like interesting part of this whole thing that it's based off of a very old, like apparently prolific psychological fantasy.
Interesting. I did not know that.
That's a very fun fact.
Is that also called Suspiria? I'm sorry if that was said. Is that also called Suspiria?
So yeah, it's Suspiria de Profundis. hoping I wouldn't have to say its actual name on the podcast.
No. You're
Profundus or Profundus. But yeah, it's
spirit
the
No, I'm just
it
kidding.
is
I
a
made that up.
well, it is it's a Latin phrase meaning sighs from the depths.
Whoa,
Right?
that's so epic.
No,
Yeah.
it sounds cool as shit. I
think,
and I like the movie was dope.
If-
It made me want to see the new one.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't sound like a detraction, but
if memory
No,
serves, a lot of like when you said the translation just there, like that reminded me about a couple things that are said in the new one. So I think that might be a fun thing, is that they might delve a little bit more into the source material than this one did.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was definitely a cool part of watching this movie, was like knowing that there's a new one and being like, oh, there's definitely some obvious threads to like run with or expand upon here. If you're doing, I don't need, what I'm saying? Like, I hate when people make a remake or like something like that and they feel they need to over explain everything. But I just felt like there was some things specifically, like the climax of the movie, if we can get into it, in the scene where she's in the room with the witch and her shadow is behind the curtain and everything like that. That was something where I was like, this is really kind of wild altogether, and I could let this go on much longer. This kind of, like out and out witchcraft, spooky stuff.
I love the 70s lightning.
Oh,
Like the very 70s special effects are just great.
Yeah. Ironically and unironically. Like those eyes at the beginning, those eyes still terrify me. But the hairy arm coming through the window makes me laugh.
Oh yeah.
Listen, man, every year Disney, Marvel, and Pixar supposedly get better at making CGI shit, and I'm just like, no, I think it's getting worse. Like every time I see that ugly Marvel sheen on a movie, it's like, okay, take me back to 1990, please.
Oh my god.
I want to go back.
Rob, you don't like them fighting in an airport? That doesn't like do it for you?
No, yeah, the bland tarmac. No,
it's cool, man. TSA is not even there. They're superheroes. What? Oh, Rob's playing a video game or something right there. Or did it drop? Do you have the soundboard?
No, my pet. It's fuck. I don't know why it's going off.
Oh, it's the bottle opener?
It's a Donald Trump bottle opener. I don't know why it's just. I apologize.
Why do you have that?
So one of my brothers got this for everyone for Christmas. It was at like a gas station, and they had a bunch of them for like $5 right after the election. So he got all of us one for Christmas as a joke. And it's a good bottle opener. Is like the reason I won't get
the best. It's the best bottle opener, Rob.
Best bottle
yeah,
opener.
but I apologize. I picked it up to open a bottle, and it keeps going off for some reason. So, my bad. I apologize.
Donald Trump doesn't want us to talk about the shitty not made in America horror movie. Only the best horror movies come from America.
Italy? I'm sorry. You telling me this is an Italian film? I've personally never been afraid of an Italian before. Okay, and I never will be.
Suspiria, no. Disturbia, yes.
Holly Berry.
We love Shia.
Oh my god, I love it. Even though Shia tried to cancel me, I still love him. His work
you
is
come
admirable.
to the king. You know what they say about the king, but every now and then you keep him around as a court jester. I like
Shia, I don't know why you're trying to divide us. I don't know what the division is, Shia. I'd love to hang out with you.
I always said, Shia, you're my little honey boy, and I didn't even charge you money for the movie. I said, you're my little honey boy, Shia. And he said, that's what my dad called me. And I said, I know, I'm like a father figure to you, Shia. Anyway, it's great. Shia is what it told me.
I bought you after hoes, and I raised you.
Oh, boy.
You bought him.
This is almost scarier than Suspiria.
Well, on that note, I do think I have said all I have to say about Suspiria personally. If anyone else has any closing notes on it, feel free.
You know my dad, Shia. Calm down. Okay, calm down, Shia.
Yeah, I have nothing else to really say about it. Just a
Neither do I.
classic horror
I
movie.
only have bad Trump impressions to say about this movie. I'm sorry.
About the film Suspiria.
Rob just sat there thinking, okay, how can I? What are some other Trump lines I can say while they talk about this movie? And he has a whole list that he wants to burn through real quick.
My dog wouldn't have bit me because I wouldn't have been blind. I wouldn't have been blind.
I like people who aren't blind or bit by dogs.
Whoever built that school is definitely they got a lawsuit on their hands, I think, at the end of all this. And you know what? That girl right there laughing, she might be culpable.
Okay.
You can cut that one out.
Yeah, Edward Jacob Scissorhands over here. Feel free to go with it. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Or should I say Jacob Kruger hands? Because it's Halloween or spooky.
Ooh,
Ah.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm bad. Can you put
Come
it
on,
on a scare alert?
I'll put it,
before
yeah.
that?
Did you spook yourself?
I got spooked.
Yeah.
Get spooked without the soundboard. I'll put in a little lightning strike sound effect right there to make it seem like he was actually reacting to something.
Yeah. I do declare. All right.
All right, so yeah, Suspiria, 1977. Check it out. I believe it's free on Tubi. I think the remake is free on Amazon Prime, but I'm not sure. But either way, watch both of them. They're both worth
Ooh,
it.
I hate that Bezos guy.
Oh no, I should have realized. Is this just
Jeff
your impression of
Bezos-
Trump, or did you actually, or have we summoned Trump much in the same way that we summoned
yeah,
other people?
I did not say that. I personally love Jeff Bezos.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so
Jeff Bezos, that guy's got a heart of steel because he's a robot. Fuck that dude.
But yeah, 1977 Suspiria is free on Tubi with ads.
Suspiria, fucking dope. Check
Yeah.
it out
The-
on
Remake, if you're curious, is free on Prime, and you can rent it on pretty much every other platform for a small fee. So definitely,
Here's a watch list callback. Go look for Suspiria on Pornhub. You never know.
yeah.
You might find it totally ad free.
Here, the other, I'll do a callback to the callback. If you want to understand that joke even better, go back and listen to Brennan and Rob's first appearance on the show back in episode 12. You won't regret it.
Best episode of this podcast.
Much kind of like how Buttery Males only gets better. This one just slowly degrades over time. Buttery Males is a fine wine. This is vinegar at this point.
No,
What is this? What is this, man? I won't do this.
It can't be possible.